Okay, good evening everyone, and thanks again for joining in for this session on who's going to conserve the great Indian bastards. Thank you, Sumit, for joining in. I welcome you all on behalf of IT Nature Trust, All Ladies League chapter for ecology conservation, and our channel partners, Footsteps in the Wild on Facebook. I request Sharmishta, who is also the our chairperson for Andhra Pradesh chapter, to introduce Sumit and take this session forward. Sharmishta, please.
Thank you, Gitanjali. Good afternoon to everybody. Happy to invite you to a Zoom talk today, and warm welcome Dr. Sumit Dukia. He is assistant professor from the University School of Environment Management, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University in New Delhi. And Dr. Dukia is having more than 2 decades of experience working on wildlife of India. He did his PhD on ecology of Chinkara in Nagaur, Jodhpur area.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I will request that if we can start from national anthem.
Sure.
Is this
Sure,
really?
bye, please.
Let's. Why don't
we can start from the
should intervene when they've already.
Hello. Okay. So I'm restarting. Good afternoon, everybody. We are having a Zoom talk today by Dr. Sumit Dukia, and we are happy to invite you, sir. Dr. Sumit Dukia is assistant professor in University School of Environment Management, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University in New Delhi. He is having more than 2 decades of experience working on wildlife of India, and he did his PhD on ecology of Chinkara in Nagaur, Jodhpur area. He is born and brought up in Nagaur and completed his studies till BSc. And then Dr. Dukia moved to Jodhpur to complete his MSc and PhD. He has published 100 plus research articles and scientific papers and reports. He has completed 8 research projects supported from national educational bodies like DST, UGC, GGSIP University, as well as international bodies like Rufus Foundation and Oriental Bird Club, and both of them are in UK. Further, he worked in Zoological Survey of India in Jodhpur Center. He has also worked in Wildlife Institute of India, Asia's premier institute of wildlife science at Dehradun. He has his work experience in Bombay Natural History Society, Mumbai, Government Lohia College, Churu, and since 2010, he's working as faculty at Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. So coming to our topic today, a little bit on that. Great Indian bastards are critically endangered birds that are now on the verge of extinction. Dr. Sumit Dukia, assistant professor for environment management at Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, has been working with local communities in Jaisalmer to support and handhold them for the conservation of Great Indian bastards. He will be taking us through the history, current captive breeding, ongoing initiatives, and future responsibility of the local communities and their role for a successful conservation project to save the Great Indian bastards. So today's topic is whose responsibility it is to conserve the Great Indian bastards. So sir, I'll hand over to you. You can continue. Mm.
Thank you, Sarmishta, and thank you, Gitanjali ji, for giving me an opportunity to speak about.
Yeah, once again, Sumit, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining. I'm requesting everyone to please mute and please don't use any abusive language here. I am going to remove anyone who is creating any nuisance. This is the first time we are experiencing this. And please listen, and this is a very serious topic. Let us all behave well and like enjoy this session, learn from it, and see how we all together can conserve a species which is always, already on the verge of extinction. I request everybody's cooperation. Thank you. Please, Sumit. I'm so sorry for this interruption.
So thank you, Gitanjali ji and Sarmishta for introducing myself and giving me an opportunity to speak about one of my favorite species on which I am working since last quite a long time, and through a different capacity, sometime as a volunteer, sometime as a campaigner, sometime as a translator in between the campaign organizers. Then finally, at some certain words of time, I decided that it's responsibility of a local to work on this species and raise a voice in between and bridge the gap in between the scientific community and the locals. So I find myself at a very interesting point where I am coordinating in between the locals in a local language and with the scientific community in a scientific language. And I am also trying to translate good science done and currently being done by the Indian scientists on the conservation front, and trying to take the communities with me and taking them as a real savior for the long-term future of this species in the landscape.
Sumit, can you speak little louder? I think aapka.
Okay. So my topic of my this talk is about the responsibility sharing, like who is going to save this species. Sometimes we are thinking that this is a responsibility of a government, this is a responsibility of a forest department, this is the responsibility of a we have some very interesting audiences today. So some of them are like creating grasses and trees on the screen, no problem. I am a university faculty and I can understand what is the student can do. So who is responsible to save Great Indian bustard? And my question is that we all. So this is a responsibility of all the people who are doing or who are listening and who are planning to see the bird or who are thinking about the bird and who are reading about the bird. Everybody is having responsibility to save this species. Gitanjali, if you can do this favor that we have to remove this person who is having so many of control on the screen, annotation.
Who is having this?
Okay, one person is having a control, so I'm just wondering who is this?
So
Just
sometime
remove that person.
You have any idea who is this?
I'm not able to understand. Wait a minute.
I removed one person. Sumit, if you know, can message me.
Somebody is saying that it's a Zoom bug. Nobody is doing it. I don't know. I have never seen this.
No. Yeah. This is not Zoom bug. This is controlled by someone. No problem. We'll go by this only.
If I'm so sorry.
If this person is not interested in listening and is very much interested in drawing, then I will request that please draw a GIB on this screen till the end. There is 1 hour left for you. So who is responsible? And I think the person who is making these lines are also responsible for saving this species. And my duty is to bring him also in the mainstream. And let's think on the topic. Very good. So this is an area, if you can see, in between these lines, there is a vast grassland, and in between the grasslands, I think it's not possible.
I think we have to take out Dr. Hussain and Aryan and Kaushik.
Okay, one second. Aryan, is it?
Aryan, Dr.
Aryan, I
Hussain.
have already removed.
Okay, Dr. Hussain.
So I am removing all the annotation
Yeah, doctor, you can do that, Sumit, please.
but this is like I am just able to remove these lines only.
Oh, okay.
Then the Kaushik 10A.
Okay.
So all this controversy, I think, started with the national anthem. We'll have this national anthem in the end, not in the beginning.
From Om Vishnoi, there is one Om Vishnoi. Okay. Then Sital. What is this?
Om Vishnui, okay.
So is it okay now? I can restart, or we have to wait again?
I'll just remove. And who
Oh.
else, Sarmishta?
Dr. Hussain, did you remove?
One second.
Dr. Satish Dhawan. Okay, I think that should be good enough.
So I'll close after.
Vagisha AR. Vagisha AR.
Okay.
Yeah,
Vagisha.
I think that is.
WA, Vagisha.
Yeah, V. It starts with V. Vagisha.
Okay.
That's it, I think.
Okay. Anyone else?
See, Gitanjali, there are certain, participants wants to join with names like Redmi, iPhone. I don't know, should we allow them or not,
Yeah, they can rename themselves once they join it. That's fine. Okay, Sumit, I'm so sorry for this. We are also facing this for the first time.
Yes, we didn't face this, frankly speaking.
Yeah, please go ahead, Sumit.
So this is like a story of a bird which is waiting to take ownership. Somebody can take ownership. So Forest Department is doing their work. Government of Rajasthan is doing their work. Government of India is doing their work. And
One second, yes. Sumit, I'm so sorry. I'm going to close the room. I'm not going to admit anyone. If anybody wants to join, whoever is coming, only known people I'll admit. And
they can listen on the Facebook.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead.
So today I'm going to speak about one of my favorite bird on which I am working since last long time and doing multiple responsibilities. Sometimes I'm working as a translator in between the government and the local. Sometimes I'm working as a campaigner. Sometimes I'm working as a scientist. And with all the responsibilities and duties I'm performing, the basic thing is that I am from that area. I am from the GIB landscape of Rajasthan, and it's my duty to save this species. So the topic of today's this talk is who is responsible to save Great Indian Bustard. And in my own opinion, that it is a responsibility of every citizen of India that we have to save our natural heritage, we have to save our endangered species, we have to save and respect the wildlife. And this is one of the bird which is majestically handsome and beautiful. And whenever you will see one or two in your life, you will really admire them and you will be fascinated to see their beauty. So this is an area where currently Great Indian Bustard is roaming in Jaisalmer. You can see this is a vast area where few trees are there in between the interdunal plains. So this is a typical habitat where you can see few agricultural fields are there, natural grasslands are there. In the backside you can see some of these shifting sand dunes and settled sand dunes are there. So this is a typical GIB landscape in Jaisalmer, and during monsoon and late monsoon, such type of greenery used to be occur there, and we have a general opinion in our mind that deserts are really deserted area where we are not having any species. So deserts are really completely turned into a life form during the monsoon season. So if you have an opportunity, then please try to visit desert in different seasons. So you will see the different color of the desert. So this is a desert in the monsoon, and this is same area where JB is being regularly seen. And this is one of the beautiful photographs of a male displaying. And during the display, this male is having a gular pouch. It's a gular sac where it used to fill the air, and while exhaling the air, it used to make a humming sound, kind of same sound, that sound, and that sound goes up to 2 to 3 kilometer distance, far distance. And during the monsoon or the cloudy days, you can see them displaying in the whole day. Otherwise, they are displaying in the morning and evening. And during the display time, if they are in this condition where the tail is raised and touch up to the neck, and the gular pouch is up to the ground, and the neck is raised in the sky, there must be some females very close by. Just like a peacock is dancing, this is a dance of a great Indian bustard. And I will share few of the beautiful videos of these birds with the Gitanjali ji, and I will request them to share on the Facebook group, just to make you appreciate this bird. And this is a great Indian bustard male. We all know that the locust is one of the biggest problem currently we are having in India. And this bird is feeding on locust is like anything. So within like 1 hour, they can consume more than 100 to 200 locust in very fast go. And these locusts are natural food of these great Indian bustard. And if we save them, we are happy that they are going to contribute whatever their capacity, but they are going to consume the locust. And locusts are important food for great Indian bustard. This is another photograph where you can see this bird is found in a habitat or is found in a grassland where the height of grass is up to the eye of the bird. So they never like the very dense or very high grass. They always prefer the grass which is up to the height of a bird. And this bird is generally 3 to 4 feet in the height. So you can imagine that 3 or 3 feet, 3.5 feet or 3.6 feet height of a grass is a very good grass in the desert, and these birds used to perfect that area. So they can hide themselves in the grassland, and they can raise the neck, and they can move in the grassland. And you just see the height of a great Indian bustard and height of a chinkara. This photograph is by John Verghese, and I am presenting here to see the comparison in between the great Indian bustard and the chinkara. So both of them are close to the same height. Now they are very fine with the livestock. They are very fine with the communities. They are very fine. They are also visiting agriculture fields. So my point is that like I am going to talk about who is responsibility. So responsibility means we have many scientific researches done on great Indian bustard since long time. And this is one of the well studied and well understood bustard among all the 4 bustards in India. 3 of them are resident, and 4th one, Hobara or McQueen's bustard, is a migratory bird. So we have ample of research on them. And then I can say through the experience and through the reading of all these reports and papers that at many times we used to blame someone that who is that particular fellow is responsible for doing something, and which is not good. And in my opinion, every person can contribute. And I am working in a very positive note since last many years that we have to take them together, because this is a bird. This is not an animal or like a mammal where we can keep them in a surrounded by a boundary, or we can keep them in an enclosure. These are the birds, they can fly. And this is heaviest flying bird. So they can fly. So whenever you are making any enclosure, like the Desert National Park is having enclosures, these birds are flying out of these enclosures and roaming in the agriculture field. So, and the agriculture field, some of the areas we can say that these are the encroachment in the Desert National Park area, but largely the land is owned by the local communities. So the bird is visiting their agriculture field, and the owner of the field is also legally having an ownership of that particular land. So now there is a problem that you cannot force your conservation measures on a private land where this bird is visiting. So we have to take them in our confidence. We have to take them together. We have to hand holding them and let them realize that this is your responsibility also, that you have to save this bird. So we have to project this bird. We have to portray this bird in a very positive note. We are not going to blame that fellow. We have to protect the right of that particular owner of the land, and we have to also make him realize that this is a responsibility of you. Whenever this bird is visiting in your field, you have to save it. So why I am telling you this, that at many times we are reading in the reports that Desert National Park is highly encroached by the agricultural land and this and that. The land holding capacity in Jaisalmer is very high, and the family size, like Desert National Park was proposed as a Desert National Park in 1981, and from 1981 to 2020, it's close to 40 years. So the 40 years is very good year for at least one generation to pass on. So the generation, those are born after 1981, are always seeing forest department at that level where they are having a little bit of conflict with the locals. During the monsoon, though always good rains are not coming in the Jaisalmer, so once in twice or thrice, once in a 2 or 3 years, they are having a good rain. So they are also going to cultivate these agriculture fields. And there is a very dubious marking, or you can say like there is a conflict of land marking also in the desert. So minor conflicts usually occur, but we have to take them together with us. And this is a comparison where cow is very close by to the Great Indian Bustard, and they are not afraid of each other. So the problem is that human beings, cows, livestock, camels, everybody is very friendly with them, but not. This is a photograph of Bhanu Singh. You can see there is an eagle, there is a fox, there is a chinkara, and there is a Great Indian Bustard. So such photographs are very rare, where you can depict the size of the wildlife of Desert National Park and the complexities and the interaction in between the species. So everybody is doing their own business and nobody is afraid of each other. And this is a typical Desert National Park scenario where you can see, you can find Great Indian Bustard in every corner. Now I am going to tell you a little bit about that how this bird become critically endangered, and why and where we are lacking in the conservation. So the right side map is taken by from IUCN Red List data category, and the shaded area is an area which is earlier occupied by Great Indian Bustard, and that brownish area is the current Great Indian Bustard distribution map. And from 1988, this bird was threatened. In 1994, this was categorized as endangered, and from 1994 to 2008, it was categorized as endangered. Then 2011, from 2008 to 2011, we had very interesting good researches done by researchers from Wildlife Institute of India and from Bombay Naturalistic Society and many other organizations, and they were able to convince the Red List data assessors that it has to be categorized as a critical endangered, and we have to do something for the conservation. Otherwise, we are going to lose this species. And this is a typical situation where I am going to tell you that in independent India, if this species is going to become extinct, then we all are responsible for the extinction of this species, because it is going to be extinct in front of our eyes. So it's my humble appeal that we have to think on this species, we have to talk on this species, and we have to see what we can do for conservation of this species. It is very down in the line, is hardly 150. Last assessment was done in 2018, and from 2018 we have left the assessment also. So the situation is very critical, and we have to think on this. So around 2015, from 2013 to 2015, there is a very interesting projects designed and proposed by Wildlife Institute of India in collaboration with State Forest Department, and money is given by central government, and there is ample of money. So we cannot say that we are not having technology with us, we are not having money with us, we are not having will with us. Our side, but the species is up to the 150 number in world. So this is a global population in 2018 done by Wildlife Institute of India is 150 birds, and out of them hardly few are breeding. the few is close to 20 to 30 birds are breeding out of these 150 birds, because this is a long age bird, and maturity starts from 3 to 4 years onwards, and from 10-11 years onwards they stop breeding, but they can roam in the area. So whenever we are seeing that Great Indian Bustard is roaming, but it is hardly breeding. Kutch area, few birds are around 5 to 6 birds are there in the run of this Kutch area. Then few birds are in Maharashtra and few birds are in Karnataka. These few are less than 5. So as per the Wildlife Institute of India's assessment, 150 birds out of that 122 was assessed for Rajasthan, and the remaining are 28 are in rest of the country. Out of that, 5 are in Gujarat and few of them are in between these states. And only breeding site is Rajasthan. So Rajasthan is an area where we are having a hope, and hope is like we can have very positive hope that we can bring that species back from that area and again repopulate the same where it used to be found in the back history. So this is a population. The first population assessment done for Great Indian Bustard was in 1969 by Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh, and it was around 1260. From that onwards, 1978, 745, then 600, then 300, around 300, then around 150 in 2018. And from there onwards, we are not having any population assessment. So it is like almost 90% population decline in 50 years. And 50 years is not a large time. 50 years is a very small time for a species to get extinct. And that's why it is a critical endangered bird, and many organizations are doing conservation activities on this. Few of them I already named. Other organizations are, you can see on the map that Sanctuary Asia is doing a campaign and conservation campaign. Then Conservation India is doing campaign, and Corporate Foundation is working in Gujarat. Then we have to map the problems. That what is the problem? The first problem is up to the earlier reports was agriculture. The second is like increasing human population, which is not in our real control. You cannot control the human population. Though it is in our control, but you cannot impose policies on everybody. So this is a beyond our control problem. The problem nowadays is documented as a dog. So dogs are either disturbing, either killing or destroying their nest. So this is a very good photograph, first time taken by Dhananjay Joshi from Desert National Park. He is a photographer from Ahmedabad, and he has taken this photograph from Desert National Park. And that recent photograph is shared by Radheshyam Pemani Vishnoi. He is one of my good field friend, and you can see that dogs are very close to Great Indian Bustard. And if you have seen Great Indian Bustard in the wild, then you must have seen that they are very far away from the human settlements. So these dogs are unowned, semi-feral dogs where they are consuming wild meats. They are also consuming wastage of this garbage. And thanks to the uncontrolled tourism industries in the Jaisalmer, where they are having dotted tents in the sand dunes, and all these garbage are going to be thrown in the backside. So all these areas are having, making a positive habitat for these dogs. Now, these dogs are eating anything, all the wild meat. You can see they have digged one hole of spiny-tailed lizard. This is also photograph shared by Radheshyam Vishnoi. These dogs are digging the hole, taking the spiny-tailed lizard out, and they are eating it. So they are very much fond of killing, they are very much fond of eating, and they are making packs and going and hunting in these areas. This is photograph of Nirav Bhatt from Kutch, and windmills are biggest problem where they are blocking the pathway of the Great Indian Bustard migrating from one habitat to another habitat. Then we have another problem, that is when we are setting any energy park, which is like solar energy park or wind energy park, we have to take the energy from these wind parks to the grid or the supply chain, and that grid are going to be set up in between the landscape. And all these areas are spider webbed with the high tension electricity lines. And with the help of the local volunteer network, I am able to document 4 Great Indian Bustard deaths from single area in Jaisalmer, which is close to Pokhran, and then 2 birds died in close to Desert National Park area. So 6 birds died in last 2 years, and in the last year there is no death. So first death was reported in 10 December 2017, and from 2017 to you can say like up to 2018, all these 6 birds death reported. This is close to Desert National Park. This is close to Pokhran. This is close to Pokhran. This is close to another area of Pokhran, and you can see all these birds died just below the power lines. So they have a you can say morphological problem. They don't have eyes in the front. They have eyes in the side. So that's why in the scientific language we used to say that they don't have a frontal vision. Frontal vision means like we can see 3-dimensional. So we can map out the distance also, and we can try to judge the distance in between us and the object. But these birds are having eyes in the left and right, and that's why they are not able to judge the front side, and that's why they are going to hit the electricity lines. And again, being the heavy bird, they are not taking high flight. They are taking flight up to the range of electricity lines. So this is a problem with the bird, but we have to save the bird. So we have to design something innovatively. Either in various scientific reports, it has been proposed that all these lines in the GIB area should go underline. Then there is a question from the power line companies and Power Grid Corporation of India and many other power sector engineers. They said that heavy electricity lines, some of these lines are 660 kilowatt, some of them are 11,000 kilowatt lines, and these 11,000 kilowatt lines, and these lines are not at all possible to put in the underground because of the heavy energy. So we have to do some innovation, and this is a challenging time in front of us, where we have lost 6 birds, and these 6 are reported. There must be many others, those are not reported. So these are few of my photographs where where I was working as a campaigner for quite a long time. So these are old photographs of 2011, 12, 13, 14 onwards, and these campaigns were supported by Oriental Bird Club grant. And left side, this is myself in 2011 January. And we have done some campaigns in the schools, some campaigns in with the community people and government schools, private schools. We released many posters, many informative booklets on the basis of scientific information produced in various scientific research papers. So I have taken this responsibility that let the community understand what is the issue. So I have converted few of these scientific information in a popular language, and Rajasthan is having a Hindi language, so converted into Hindi, and we have distributed many things. So and since last 2-3 years, we are having a time of digital revolution, where everybody is having a very good smartphone and WhatsApp and other apps. So we have converted message on all the occasions, and these messages are shared in the local WhatsApp groups and local Facebook pages to realize that these are the species we have to think for the conservation, and try to make them understand that these are the areas where we have to think on. Now this is an area, the green one is the Desert National Park, and all these red patches are existing windmills, wind farms, and this aeroplane is the airport of Jaisalmer, and this airplane is airport of Phalodi, and this aeroplane is airport of Jodhpur. So you can make out the location where the Great Indian Bustard is found. From 2010 onwards, no sighting of Great Indian Bustard below this mark. All these bustards are restricted in northern part of Desert National Park, and largely or loosely in the Pokhran side of Jaisalmer, which is eastern side of Jaisalmer. And this eastern side is again having one enclosure of Desert National Park is known as Ramdevra enclosure. And there is another green dot is area where Rasla enclosure is there. So Desert National Park is having those two satellite enclosures. And these satellite enclosures are having legal definition as the Desert National Park. And just like we are having Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep Islands as a part of a country, these are the part of the Desert National Park. So you can see if this bird have to fly up to this area, they have to navigate through these lines, through these windmills, or they have to take the another larger route or longer route. So literally they are taking the longer route, and this has been proved because we are having a few community people in this area, and we were able to see how they are venturing into this area outside the Desert National Park during non-breeding season. And this bird is a very typical, it is having a breeding season and breeding sites, historical breeding sites, and largely these breeding sites are under protected area. So we are not having many big issues in the conservation of breeding sites, but we are facing a huge problem when these birds are moving out after the breeding season. After the breeding season means October onwards. So the breeding season starts with mid of the June, and we are currently we are in the mid of the breeding season, and the last chick, or like all the chicks come out from the egg, is around September and October onwards, and within 1.5, like 40 to 50 days, they start little bit of flight. So this is a area where the Great Indian Bustard is navigating and facing a problem. The yellow circle in the top is an area where this bird is also found, and from this area they are crossing the international boundary and also used to roam in the Pakistan side, and we are not having any control in that area, and they are going and getting killed. In last 2-3 years, 3 to 4 Great Indian Bustard have been killed, and we have some records from that area also. Now the pinkish area, the shaded pinkish area is known as a GIB arc, Great Indian Bustard arc. Just like we are having Tarai arc in the lower Himalayas, this was proposed in 2013 by Nigel Collar of IUCN Great Indian IUCN Bustard Group chairperson, along with Dr. G.S. Bhardwaj and one researcher from Bombay Natural Research Society. So this area was proposed as a GIB arc. Now Forest Department and state government is trying to make this area as a suitable site for Great Indian Bustard. So my entire concentration currently I am focusing since last 3 years is in that area outside the Desert National Park, where we can take we can take communities along with us, because this entire area is owned by private public, and few of the areas are having Indira Gandhi Canal project also. So irrigated, owned by public, and now we have to think innovatively to bring them in the conservation. So the biggest question is that, sir, mujhe kya fayda hoga? So we have to think on the fayda part also. So I am trying to think innovatively how to bring them with a little bit of beneficial part that they are having a GIB in their area. So we started with the help of Forest Department in 2015, a group of 25 naturalist local people selected by Forest Department given to us, and it's a kind of a little challenge that let's do something and make them understand that what is the role of GIB and how we can think that they can have a conservation role. So all these boys were working in the some area or Sudasri area. They all belongs to the villages of Desert National Park, and the Forest Department and these 25 boys were mixed together, and we had 5 to 6 sessions, and all these sessions were conducted on the theme of to train them as a naturalist. So biggest role was to make them bird watchers, because birding business is quite interestingly growing in that area, along with wildlife photography, and then many other like medicinal plant survey, and then plants and insects and butterflies and dragonflies, whatever is coming in front of us. So we trained them. So few of my friends were joined with me, and we had a long sessions to train them. I have put some arrows. This arrow is with a person who is innocently sitting in a crowd. Then his peeping from the back to see something is going on. Then he is again very carefully listening, and then he is directly having interaction with CCF Wildlife of Jodhpur Division. So this boy is Musa Khan, and this is one of our success story where I am bringing this success story to all. And he is interacting with CCF Wildlife Jodhpur, Dr. G.S. Bhardwaj, and we are very much thankful to Dr. G.S. Bhardwaj that he had this innovative idea to let them bring and have a dialogue. And then this boy is sitting in the front row. So this is the end of a training session, and we are happy that few of the boys, not all 25, around 5 to 6 are independently working. And this is a photograph during the training session. You can see he is not fully convinced, and now he is heading a good business, owning his own website, and he is also having few of his colleagues, those who are trained with him as a naturalist, but they are not able to speak good, a little bit of tutti-frutti English, as well as they are not able to speak well in Hindi also. So he took this opportunity and he made a small team of 4 to 5 these naturalists, and he is having own website, and he is managing 30 to 40 groups in a year. So this is one of the success story. And he also brought one gypsy. So he said that, sir, for business we have to have fully equipped. So he being equipped with the gypsy and with the team of the naturalist, and I have supplied a few binoculars and books. I will share in the next. So this is like season's first GIB chick sighted in Jaisalmer is with the help of these boys, since they started taking interest, and we were happy to share the result. Now this is a bottom-up approach where our community volunteers, all these community volunteers are actually GIB community volunteers 20 plus. I am not giving actual number because I am not paying anything to them. So if they are interested, they are joining us. If they are not interested, they are free to do anything. And we are not keeping a bounding on them. We are taking them emotionally with us. And if they want to learn, if they want to listen, we are going to give them little bit of business. So they are having connection with further community volunteers, and we are having 2 field coordinators. One is in the eastern side, like in the Pokhran side, and another in the Desert National Park side. And both of these coordinators are coordinating in the private lands. And my role is honorary advisor is here. I am just giving advice, and I am just training and nurturing them, and with the help of one team leader who is from a NGO. Now, through the mouth publicity and through the contacts, I was able to contact Binoculars for Charity, a Switzerland-based organization. They extended help in a form of a donation of used binoculars and new books. So I personally went and handed these binoculars and books to all these boys, 5 boys, and this is Musa. So, and they are happy to receive these gifts, and now they are doing their work properly, and all these binoculars are literally very well serviced, Leica binoculars, and not below the Nikon. You can just imagine the optics, because they are from Switzerland. So all of these are very old but very finest piece of the optics, and these boys are working in this area. This is another success story. He is Radheshyam, the photographer, which I have shown photograph in the 2-3 photographs. He is working with me since last 3 years, and I have given one binocular and one book to bring him and his interest into the GIB conservation. Earlier he was used to do being a Vishnoi. He was having a group, and he used to do some wildlife rescue of chinkara and other injured animal. And then when he started interacting with me, then I told him that your area is having great Indian bustard, and then we started exploring this area, and we are happy to see that more than 7 to 8 males are displaying very close to his area. And he is having a very good control on many of his friends, and with the help of them, we are able to map all 4 GIB deaths were reported by him only. These are some of the reports from 2010, 2017, and 2020. I have produced 3 reports, and all these 3 reports are on survey and participation, community participation only. And with the help of a Tiger Watch NGO, and Tiger Watch given us 5 lakh rupees to do whatever we want to do in the landscape. So we decided that we have to select few schools in the Desert National Park area or the GIB distribution area, and we distributed them some usable items in the school. So few of them were usable for kids and few of them are usable for school staff. And we organized one function with the help of a DFO. So he is DFO, Mr. Kapil Chandrawal, and he is a former Sarpanch and he is a current Sarpanch of Amar Sagar Panchayat in outside the Jaisalmer. And we had one program where we tried to make efforts in between the communities and in between the forest department. And these are the items we distributed to the schools. Now, few of the activities I am going to mention, not all, that we have regular meetings with the community. And this is Dr. Mamta Rawat. She is a team leader from the ERDS Foundation. And I am working and I am advising a team of these community workers and working on the community level. And we release some posters, we release some brochures. So every 2-3 years, we used to change the content and we used to distribute in the audience. These are some of the activities where we had some conservation education program in a school, and competition, drawing competition, debate competition, and winners were given stationery item and few usable prizes. This is an interesting story. This statue was brought by BNHS in 2000, year 2000, and at that time I was a volunteer with them, and we traveled on foot from Bikaner to Jaisalmer around 300 kilometers, and we selected one village where villagers are happily going to accept this statue as a worshipping statue. And we are happy that one village close to Mohangarh was came forward, and we established this statue in the temple. At that time I was a volunteer. Now, since I started roaming in the landscape, I found that we have to search all old contacts, and by contact by from one person to another, it took me around 2 years to reach this village, and I was happy to see that statue is still there, existing in a temple of Hadbuji. Hadbuji is a local devta where Rajputs are worshipping Hadbuji, and this village is largely vegetarian village. And this statue is placed in front of a Hadbuji statue as a Nandi in a Shiva temple. And you can see people are worshipping, putting garland. Some vermilion is there on the forehead and in the beak, and a few moli dhaga in the neck. So every year they are having a fair, they are having a bhajan kirtan overnight program where this statue is always in the center. Now we started bringing a few religious angles also. So we designed these type of posters where we were able to see that Guru Jamboji or Guru Jambeswar, the Guru of Vishnu sect, was very much fond of wildlife. And we started putting this as a message that Jamboji is also blessing Great Indian bustard to survive, because few of the villages in the Pokhran side is Vishnu dominating villages, and they are coming very positively with us. So this is our message, that Jamboji is fond of all the wildlife, and if Jamboji was knowing that this is a Great Indian bustard, they must have given blessing to the Great Indian bustard. Now this is a benefit, or you can say like side benefit of the networking. Or wildlife volunteers are working day and night through eyes and ears. So they have documented many poaching cases also. So they are working as a wildlife volunteer, they are working as an anti-poaching network also. And this is a hidden photograph taken from a video. So one of our community volunteer was able to reach up to the poachers dera, and he started documenting everything, how they are doing it. So this is a time where Hatta Jodi or the hemipenis of Varanasi was very famous in the news. We were able to see that this is a monitor lizard directly boiled and cooked and roasted in a fire, and this lady is cleaning the skin, and you can see these hemipenicles are protruded out from the body. You can see here also, and this is a just internet photograph, and we were able to document also and given this information to the concerned authorities. Now, these are the side benefit of the networking. चिंकारा का शिकार करते गिरफ्तार, औजार एवं मांस बरामद near Ramdevra. This is an area where around 25 great Indian bustards are currently existing and breeding also. Not 25, but 7 to 8 JVs are breeding in that area. So this is an area where we have to focus, and the area is largely owned by revenue land or by community. Forest department is having very little role, and that's why we have started putting our attention in the network. This is the same story where you can see all type of ammunition, then country made this thing ammunition with this lead pellets and gun, and these cases were information were given by our network, extended network, and handed to the forest department, and forest department conducted raids. This is another case where poacher were held with the chinkar, and this is an interesting case where you can see these are the spiny-tailed lizards, and this area have n number of spiny-tailed lizards, and locals, tribals used to broke the backbone of this spiny-tailed lizard, and they either going to consume by themselves or they are going to supply also. We are having some inputs that these are supplied up to the South India, and from there they are going in the international market up to outside the India. So we received some tip off that few groups are operating in Jaisalmer side. Then we assessed the area and narrow down some key points where we can have some success. So these boys were arrested by Forest Department on 28th March 2019, and you can see somewhere my name is Dr. Sumit Dukia, and Dr. Mamta Rawat is that coordinator, and this is with the help of our volunteer Radheshyam Pemani Vishnoi, and he received some tip off, and we helped with the Forest Department. With the help of Forest Department, these people were caught. Now, this is 4 poachers arrested for poaching in Jaisalmer. So at 2nd April 2020, this is a time where lockdown was imposed, and all the local poachers, and you can say like local tribals, and everybody was free to do something. So they started venturing and they started killing wildlife also. And this was a time where nobody was outside our houses, but our network was there in the landscape, and we received some information, and our good wildlife expert Radheshyam Pemani was very active at that time, and we were able to crack the case which was linked with this case. Since spiny-tailed lizard is scheduled 2 species, case is not up to that strong. Now these boys and the relative of those boys are under arrest, and they are on the bail from the High Court of Jodhpur. But this was the biggest case we were able to crack in last 1.5 years. Now this is like how to take communities together in that benefit model. So benefit model, or you can say like access to benefit. So they want some benefit. They are ready to help Great Indian bustard. They are saying that we are not killing them, but only killing is not going to destroy the population of Great Indian bustard. It is highly impacted by habitat also. So we started few innovative ideas in our brain to start implementing. We are currently implementing GIB Mitra program. GIB Mitra is Great Indian Bustard Mitra is like these community workers. Those are working in the area. They are monitoring the population around their village, and along with them, extended network is anti-poaching, which is currently going on, and conservation education program is we are under process in developing some innovative ideas, innovative books on the GIB, the animal life, and the community of that landscape. Now, since this is a very large and landscape in GIB arc, which is south 7,000 square kilometer, we are in dialogue with the community, and we are having a promising side from that community, this farming community. Few of them are agree on organic farming, so we are turning them GIB friendly farming, where they have to left certain part of their agriculture farm as a natural, where few natural grasses are growing, few natural wildlife is surviving, thriving, and they are having GIB vegetation also once or twice in a year. Livelihood improvement program is a basic broad, very broad term, but we are along with them, we are doing some indigenous cow breed Tharparkar, which is under going to roll on in the next week. Artificial insemination of Tharparkar is a local breed of Jaisalmer, which is giving a very, if Tharparkar is a pure cow, is going to give around 16 to 20 kg milk. And since a indigenous cow having a all positive side of a cow milk available in this milk. Then we are having one backyard poultry. This is an interesting program where we are in a dialogue with KVK, Krishi Vigyan Kendra Jaisalmer, and with the training of KVK, we are trying to bring few community people, those are interested in having some backyard poultry. So Kadaknath chicken is under experiment in Jaisalmer and Badmer area, and we are happy that few of these farmers, few of these community workers are coming forward and taking initiatives and developing some local chicken, desi chicken poultry in the backyard. We are mapping of existing oran and sacred groves. These are the areas where legal status is suggested by, is directed by Supreme Court to be added as a deemed forest. So this is how we are doing, and we are mapping, and we are finding the existing orans and trying to search in the revenue records, and these are going to be managed under forest department system. These are the habitats where GIB is currently visiting, and advocacy and advisory to all these things. This is this is Ursa Khan. If you remember, he was with Musa Khan with one tourist, and he was also trained naturalist, but he is not having communication skills. So that's why he is very good skill to track, to move, and to walk on the desert sand, but he is not having good communication skill to communicate in Hindi and write in Hindi. So that's why he is always in the backside, but we are trying to bring him forward, and we are, he joined with us in this Kadaknath chicken program. So we gifted one male this chicken to him, and he is having 14 desi chickens. So this is just 20th July photograph. So he was handed over one pure Kadaknath Murga, and this Murga is in his village. You can see the GPS location. He is always sending photograph with the GPS location, and he is happily holding this chicken. So this is like my story, what I am doing, and what is my plans to do, and why I am having a plan, because currently Great Indian Bustard is under captive breeding program by Forest Department and Government of India and Government of Rajasthan. So they are doing very good. They are managing it well, and 10 chicks are already reared from the wild eggs in captivity, and these chicks are going to be used as a founder population, and around 20 to 25 years ahead, 20 to 25 years from today is like 2042 to 2045. We are going to have, if everything goes well with the captive breeding program, we are going to have these captive breed GIBs in the back. So I am working with a 25-year plan. I am not working for shorter journey, and that's why I am having a long plan with baby steps, that I have to travel up to 25 years with the communities, and slowly and steady wins that race. On that theme I am working, and thank you very much for joining this talk. This is from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Sumit, and for all the others, again, really apologies for all the small distractions that we had. Sharmishta, I have opened the chat. If anybody wants to ask any questions, please come forward. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Yes, please.
And I've opened the chat also if anybody wants to write anything there. Yes, Ashutosh, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Yeah, hi Sumit. Thanks. This was really good information. My son Adit is also on the call.
Okay.
He's 12-year-old. So like,
Awesome.
yeah. So
Adit.
like I thought that like it will be good for him to get more details about what conservation really means. Thanks for the details. Like the question that I have is like it's absolutely stunning work that you guys are doing at community level. How do we engage children who are not the part of the local community? Because it's the children who makes the biggest impact on the adults. How do we do that? What like do you have any ideas like?
So first reply in my
Sure.
mind is that we have to make them sensitive toward the species and its plight. Like I try to draw a picture how this species used to be in the past and reach up to the 150 number, and the numbers are really below the 150 now because I have given you count of 6 dead birds, and we are not sure how many young birds added. But last year we had a good breeding season. So if we want to train them and we want to make them understand that this is our duty to give them regular updates and understand the biology of the species and try to find the solution from even from their mind also. Like whatever I am doing, I am not doing any big science. I am just trying to reverse the science. And earlier we used to blame the communities. Now my job is to bring the community back. And when we are putting fingers across the table and that you are the responsible, and my idea is that everybody is responsible. If somebody is not from that area, not from that community, but they can think, they can visualize, they can have some brilliant ideas how to move ahead, because 25 years are very good. And Government of India, Government of Rajasthan and Wildlife Institute of India is doing excellent. And without any doubt, we have full faith that they will bring GIB back. And when they are coming with the GIB in their hands to release, where is the habitat? This is a point that we have to think today. If we will leave the habitat at that, we are allowing windmills to come, we are allowing solar panels, solar farms, big solar farms are coming. So we are allowing solar farms to come. Yes, we need development, we need energy, we need everything. But with the help of the science, with the help of the advancement of the science, can we innovatively do something to save the species? That one suggestion came from scientific community that we have to put underline electricity underline. Then that is a technical problem due to the heavy electricity. Another suggestion came from the technical team is that we have to put bird diverters. Bird diverters are like reflectors. They are hanging from the wire, and during the day, like a radium plates, so they are giving a reflection. So it's a kind of a flash coming in the eye of the bird. And then during the night, they are having strobe lights. So these are some of the innovative ideas, and these are tested by on Great Bustard in Europe also. And a few areas are equipped, few lines are having these bird diverters. But we need many more innovative ideas because we are not able to put these lines inside, and the time is running very fast. We are losing the battle. So we have to do some innovative idea. We have to make the people sensitive, and if somebody is ready to listen, ready to convince, then this is also very good communication style. Like what I am doing today is I hope that I am doing some kind of conservation. I am trying to make sensitive at least 50 people, and you 50 people are going to talk at least one more. So it is like 50 to 50 is 100, and then like energy is going in the down. So that curve is not going to like 50 to 50 to 50 to 50, but at least 200 people can be sensitized with that such type of talks. So my idea is that we have to talk a lot, we have to discuss a lot, and when we are discussing, we are bringing various issues, we are bringing some innovative ideas, we are trying to grasp something, and we can implement. So Adit, I can say this is a brilliant chance for you to be a very good conservationist. 25 years are very good age. From today, 12 to 25 is very good age. At that time, you will be in the full position to do something. And we are trying to save this species for you. So this is my message to Adit. And thanks Ashutosh ji for all the help outside.
Sir, there is one question from Selva Rajan.
Okay.
Please let us know how we can help as an organization. Green Circle is with you in all our endeavors. So can they contact you in some way, or
Yes, yes. Salve Rajan ji is very good friend of mine. I will contact him personally also. But what we can do, like I have mentioned few logos in the end, and we are very open. We are not going to hold this like few organizations are doing. If this is my species, and you are not going and going to enter in the habitat where I am working. I am working with a very open. I am not working. I am working as a university faculty. I am working by my passion. Nobody is paying me. But being a local, I am developing some ideas, and I am finding someone who can sponsor, who can coordinate, who can work, who can tackle this burden of myself on their shoulders. And we are happy to contact anybody. Like if you are a birder, if you are a naturalist, if you want to visit, these are the boys you can contact. You can contact me, and they are also on the Facebook. You can contact directly and visit these areas. Try to understand on the ground. And when you will visit these areas on the ground, you will realize that taking a single photograph of these bird is either sheer luck, or then you have to go for many years to see that particular display photograph. So visiting there, you are expending something, so that expense is going to motivate the community to do some kind of livelihood option, some kind of, so that my naturalist program was a kind of a green skill program, where I was able to promote, I was able to bring at least 5 out of these 25 as a rural livelihood or rural naturalist based kind of entrepreneurship. And they are working well. And they are paying back to me in a form of a GIB information. Sir, हमने आज यहाँ पे ये देखा, हमने आज वहाँ पे ये देखा. This shikari was that. And this community network is in between all the communities, Hindu, Muslim, then among the Hindu, Vishnoi, Rajput, Bhil, tribal, all the tribals. We are not having that this community is completely against the GIB. No, we are trying to find some of them good people out of that, and we are giving them an opportunity that you can earn 1 rupee from that bird. If you are earning 1 rupee, you will respect that bird.
Sir, P. Narayan says, very informative and great optimism. Were the bird books given in Hindi?
Okay. Yes. That is a very interesting problem. We contacted BNHS because BNHS released once Uttar Bharat ke Pakshi, and that book is now out of press. Not out of press, like you can say, exhausted. And now we are not able to purchase that book. And that is the biggest challenge. So I have only 1 copy, and sharing PDF is also not legal. So I am managing by my own. So we have downloaded few good photographs from the Facebook, and we are putting names of the birds, and we are making these PDF sharing through the WhatsApp. And these boys are having few knowledge, and they are able to manage now. But if we are able to make some Hindi books, then it's most welcome. We are ready to do.
Sir, I think Center for Environment Education and BNHS do this kind of stuff, right, sir?
They do, because that I am talking about that book. No, Uttar Bharat ke Pakshi was done by BNHS only.
Okay.
But abhi wo out of print ho gaya, and now it is not possible to get it more printed, because it was done by Carol Inskip and Grimmett.
Grimmett bird book.
So if you can remember that sample. Yeah.
Sir, somebody called Vishesh PV is repeating his question. Such a beautiful big bird. Why it is not India's national bird? So you want to say something?
This was as per the information shared by Dr. M.K. Ranjit Singh ji, At that time, he was a committee member to propose this bird as a national bird. And this bird is very close to him also. So he proposed this bird. And that Great Indian Bustard was in, you can say, race में सबसे आगे थी. But being that last name, Bustard can be something else if not pronounced properly. And somebody in the crowd suggested that no. अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, then it is going to become a national sin. So we have to propose some different bird, and then peafowl was proposed. So then
Okay, sir,
it was settled as a.
Okay, sir. Ashutosh Jhurli wants to ask some question.
Mhm.
He has raised his hand. He has to, I think, unmute himself.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ashutosh, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, so like it is question for you, Gitanjali ji and Sumit ji, आपके लिए भी. Like I spoke, like while we were raising funds, like I spoke to lots of people, like on different forums, different channels, both here in the UK where I am and in India. I didn't find even one person who knew about Great Indian Bustard. Not even one person. And like I'm talking about people of like all genres, all age group. Why is so that it is so less talked about? Like you have to be in specific forums, specific groups, or in the hardcore conservation field to know about it. Why is it not talked about? But like we know about all other aspects of conservation, but like never Great Indian Bustard is never heard of. Why is so?
I think Sumit, you want to take that?
So I can say, but you have to add if you have
Yeah,
something in the
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
So this bird is, in my opinion, this is the beautiful bird I have ever seen because the size is very high and size is like appealing. So if you are looking at a Indian white-eye, or earlier we used to say Oriental white-eye, or any like nuthatch, it is very tough to find that nuthatch. But this bird is visible at least 2 kilometers away from you. And that is the magnificent view where you are able to see from the binocular. There is like a big personality is walking, big personality is moving on a very open plateau where white color of this gular pouch is hanging in between the legs, is like scarf. So I think this bird is very shy, and shyness, being in a large size, it is still not able to like people used to able to see, because it is very shy. When you are going close to this bird, you will be amazed to see that it usually downs its neck and hide in the vegetation, or stand एक जगह close to the logs. So it is very tough to recognize it. And then another thing is that distribution is very limited. If you are coming, like if I am not wrong, everybody is coming to Jaisalmer or going to Kutch is at least having this bird in the mind to get it sighted or photographed. So this is one of the dream that people used to have a photograph of this bird. But this bird is very shy in the nature, and finding a good photograph, because when you will go close to this bird, at least 1 kilometer is allowing you, if you are in a like a camel cart or in a natural local attire, and you can go up to 1 kilometer. But from that onwards, you are not able to see this bird. So you need a large equipment, you need a very expensive or heavy lens to take a very beautiful photograph of this bird, or otherwise you have to wait in a hide. And this is, in my opinion, this is that particular problem. And I know few person, like Dr. Asad Rahmani, worked on this species for a very long time, and he is the biggest advocate of this bird. If you will talk with him, he can tell you like so many nights, like in a story you can discuss with him. So this is a bird, very few people work on it, and due to its shyness. Another species is lesser florican. Lesser florican is always visible during the display. Otherwise, it is very tough to see that particular bird. So these are the behavior of this bird is very shy. This is from my side.
Yeah. One more thing is that, we in India, I think we we like everything mega, mega, like now we know a lot about, like you go anywhere in the world, you know about tiger conservation because uh, from the government side, from the NGO sector, there's so much of money pouring into, like the moment you talk about tiger conservation. So I don't think that is happening in the case of GIB. Am I right, Sumit?
That is literally true. I have seen somewhere a sketch where tiger is sitting on the balance in the one side, and all the other species are on the high side of the fulcrum of the balance, and tiger is having heaviest funding. And being a big five, all the organizations are concentrating on big five animals, including tiger. But this species is neither included in big five nor in a priority of any organization. And this is a challenge where, because fund is important to run some programs, and every program for longevity, if you want to run for a longer time, then you need a longer assurance of funding, or otherwise you have to take everybody along with you, just like a Mela kind of thing, where everybody is talking about GIB, and there we can have some faith that ek na ek din to kuch hoga. But this type of situation is very challenging, where you are going to make a very positive environment, and that's why I am diverting myself from the science, because I am a core scientist. But on this species, I am not doing any science after 2015, because I understand that every science is known on this species: how they breed, where they breed, what is their sex size, what is their distribution, what they eat, how they fly, how they see, everything is known. Now problem is that because we have already put a person across the table is responsible, and now that person is angry on you, and वो ये बोलेगा सब मेरे को क्या करना. Whenever you are visiting Desert National Park or any area and you will talk about this bird, he will say मुझे नहीं पता, वो forest department जानता है. Why? Because this was in their mind that forest department is custodian of this species, and that's why my title of the talk is who is the responsible? Myself and you and forest department and everybody. A safeguard that the person who is holding that chicken, the person who is showing the agriculture field, everybody is responsible, and that's why I am bringing farmers along with me to do some organic farming. And I am taking challenge in the future that we'll do some kind of marketing in the name of a GIB, that this is a GIB friendly products along with the organic certified. Few of the farms are already certified. 3 certificates have been received by my farmers group, and I am very much happy that they all are joining me, and I am not going to pay anything to them. They are just coming willingly with me, and this is the beauty, that I am relying on them and they are relying on me. So this is going to become a long lasting program. But really funding is important, and all the organizations should at least have mandate that this is a tiger is 3,000 tigers are already close to 3,000 we are having. But right now GIB, how many left? We are not having any data after 2018.
Sir,
So basically, we need to glamorize GIB. In
Yes.
Yes, glamour. We have to talk
Glamorize
about
GIB.
it. I am in a dialogue with few local songwriters that you please write some melodious, glorious song on this GIB in a Rajasthani language to make a public voice. Okay, everybody should, like we have so many Rajasthani songs in Hindi movies. This is the problem, that this bird is either not in a culture of that Rajasthan. So we are trying to bring that in the culture part also.
Yes,
Sumit,
sir,
my
that is a
advice-
good idea, because a lot of foreigners come and visit the Rajasthan desert and watch the folk, program. So if they listen to the songs about the bird, at least they will be aware, and it will be discussed in all the different forums, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and Sumit, how about, I'm not sure whether you have had any thought of tying up with the Rajasthan tourism for, what we are thinking, you're selling Rajasthan as a tourism destination. So probably some kind of tie-up can be sought, and, so that, as I said, we can glamorize GIBs.
There is one technical point in this tourism is that for so far Desert National Park is not widely open for tourists because of this species and the shyness of this species. So this is one of the components that Forest Department is thinking, that when tourism will start, then everybody is coming and seeing, and the bird is up to this level. So they are keeping all the breeding sites closed up to the breeding season, up to the November. All the national park enclosures are closed. That's why we are telling these naturalist boys that don't keep GIB as a flagship species in your list. Added benefit can be sighting of a GIB, but add many other species. So they are having trumpeter finch, they are having hoopoe lark, they are having desert fox, they are having desert cat, they are having white-back vulture, white-rump vulture, long-billed vulture. 7 species of vultures you can see together in Jaisalmer in a GIB habitat. So if GIB is there, it is visible to you. If GIB is not there, so anybody is going there, at least वो अपना list बना के, because like I have cited something, and many species are recently added in Jaisalmer bird list. Thanks to few of my good birding friends. One of them is Dr. Divesh Seni. He is a MBBS doctor in Pokhran Hospital, and he is doing extensively birding in that area and training few guys also.
That's good. Amit has got a question. He says it's a most heartwarming talk. Is there any threat from hunting with falcons?
The last week there was one news that one falcon killed Great Indian Bustard female while she was on the nest. And to me and to my knowledge, this is the first case I have ever heard that Great Indian Bustard of this height and this weight is being killed by falcon. But we have to accept this, that falcon this now. I think Tawny Eagle was able to hunt that female Great Indian Bustard, and it was not saved and killed by falcon. But for me, this is the first case.
I also know, I mean, I would like you to talk about going forward, the plans you have and how we all can contribute and, to the work, the good work that you are doing there.
So, like I started from 2015 onwards, and this naturalist team is working independently, and they are having their contacts. So, if somebody is visiting Rajasthan or Desert National Park or want to see Great Indian Bustard, then please contact us, me, my team, or like you can search myself on Facebook also, and the organization where I am giving all my scientific information and my community contacts are coming from that organization is the ERDS Foundation. ERDS stands for Ecology, Rural Development and Sustainability Foundation. So we are doing some experiments with the community and doing some sustainable models where tourism can be taken as a sustainability, agriculture can be taken as a sustainability, and GIB with the presence of GIB. And currently that organization is running one crowdfunding program, and it's on the Crowdera website, and I will share link with Gitanjali ji, so you can visit that particular page and do it. We are left with, I think, 11 or 12 days, and a big thanks to Asutosh Zureli ji, and he is contributing and he is helping a lot in that thing, but still we are far away from the target. Target is for 2 programs running in 1 year, we need 6 lakh rupees and hardly 2.17 lakh rupees managed. But we are trying our best to use this money, and we are hoping that in future we are going to have few more donations because still 11 days left.
Yeah, I have shared the link, Sumit. And one more thing I wanted, I mean, me being from the tourism sector, have you thought about, like involving the communities or the communities opening up their homes to take in guests, and, that can add up to their livelihood income, program?
I discussed with them, and I think we discussed on mobile also. But problem is that we can do some experiment this year from next year onwards, because staying in the particular thatch building and or the thatch, we usually call them as a jhumpa. The problem of sanitation is biggest problem, but forest department is having few staying facility very moderately arranged. Otherwise, few hotels are there close to some, so you can stay in few moderate hotels hardly 15 kilometers from Desert National Park, and you can go with these naturalist boys and you can support them, and you can visit the community settlement. You can go and discuss with them. You can even visit with them with these naturalists to the nearest government school. You can discuss with the government staff, because this conservation education program we are going to have at least 15 to 18 schools of GIB landscape, and all these schools are going to be with us once in a week for 1 hour on GIB and wildlife discussions. And it's a year-long program, and we are going to have few dialogue with the schools. So community is with you, and you can go and see the community. You can go and discuss with the schools, and but the problem will be coming in a form of staying, because we all city people need at least good bed to sleep and good bathroom and this washrooms. So this is a challenge for us.
I mean, I would disagree with that from my love. I mean, I think some of the participants are there, they will agree that, you know, like people who are really want to contribute to the community, and they want to, you know, like understand the culture, the tradition of, this is a one great way wherein you can not only showcase the local culture, but of course, you know, like in an indirect way contribute to their livelihood program. At the same time, you know, that, you know, like how we did in some of the northeastern states.
Yes.
We said, okay, you want to guests to come and stay with you, then you have to stop hunting. This is a simple thing, you know, like, so money is a big talker. Money is always a big motivator in, you know, like some of the interior villages. Probably we will take it up, and I'll talk.
We will develop very interesting program, because all these farmers are having very beautifully farms and doing organic farming and growing from date palm to pomegranate to lemon to so many other things, and cumin, and then groundnut and various other products. So if you are going there, you can also visit the farms. It's a kind of a small farm tourism, small community tourism, and conservation tourism also, where you can involve yourself for 2-3 days for birding and for like, you know, monitoring, because we are this birding or the avifaunal list is every year and every day is need to be updated. So it's a good suggestion. We are ready to help you and coordinate on this.
Yeah.
Asutosh Jureli is having raised hand.
Yeah,
Asutosh ji.
please. Ashutosh, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yeah, no, sorry, I think like it was from the previous one, but like it's a very, very good information. Thanks, Sumitji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Asutosh.
Thank you for attending. Sharmishta, any other question?
No.
Okay, Sharmishta, you can wind up the session. I think that's going forward. I mean, thanks, Sumit. Thanks for joining in. And I have already shared the crowdfunding link on the chat. If anybody wants to, I will share it on the Facebook link also. And let's hope our small endeavors will go a long way in helping save this species. Yeah. Sharmishta.
Thank you so much, sir. It was so informative, and it's also like heartening to see that we are still not able to do much about this bird. So, sir, to conclude, I would like to request you to let us know on the citizen science, or, you know, like general people, when they talk about nature, if they can do something who are away from the, you know, point of concern, like people who are away from GIB, not in Rajasthan, and they might not be visiting over there, but at least they should be aware. So if there are something which we can refer to and we can share in different forums, because there are a lot of citizen science programs happening all over the country. And sir, thank you from our All Ladies League. And we hope to see more talks from you, sir, on this same topic. And we would like to see more progress stories on this.
Updates and progress.
Yes, yes, sir.
Sure. Sure.
Yes,
Thank you.
Sumit, our Footsteps in the Wild is all yours, as I mentioned, and please use the platform to share information. And thanks again from IT Nature Trust and All Ladies League. Thank you, Sharmista, and thanks everyone for joining in. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, okay, thank you. Bye.